Hey YouTube, this is Fragments of Memory once again, aka the Armchair Philosopher. I've been hearing the buzz about the Republican National Convention. Apparently, it's a really big deal. And as we know, Mitt Romney, has chosen Paul Ryan as his running mate to be vice president. And of course, the Republicans are in full gear to take the White House back in 2012. Now, I've been kind of listening to it, and don't judge me, but I've been on the radio, listening to talk radio, and Laura Ingraham, if you know who she is. I have this sort of obsession and anger towards this woman at the same time, which is weird. But anyway, she seems to be singing the praises of Paul Ryan and singing the praises of the Republicans. Um, Paul Ryan seems like he's the great white hope personally. He's like the great white hope for the Republican Party. He's not as scatterbrained seeming as Sarah Palin is. He comes off very clear, very articulate, and of course he doesn't have to use a teleprompter, and he loves to throw that on the current president Barack Obama. I did notice there were some black and brown conservatives at the Republican National Convention. Now, I know there's going to be members of minority groups that are Republican and or conservative. Uh, um, Michelle Malkin, who's the daughter of Filipino immigrants, she's a Republican, or she's conservative. Angela McGloin, she's a black woman who's conservative. Star Parker, she's a black woman who's a conservative. You have you have Juan Williams, he's a conservative. You got what's his name, Larry Elder, he's a conservative. Or Thomas Sowell, he's a conservative. Now, personally, there's nothing wrong with having conservative views. I mean, I myself come from an evangelical Christian background. I'm currently Muslim, so there are certain ideas that I have that are going to be conservative regarding marriage, regarding regarding certain things. My only thing though is, especially with the black and brown conservatives, why do we seem to want to align with the very same people that would drop the N word on us in a minute, or that will be quick to say that we're savages in a minute? Now, that's just my big thing about black conservatives. And I personally wouldn't vote for a man who's part of a church that used to teach that black people were demonic and couldn't go to heaven because they were cursed by God. So I don't see how any black person could roll with Romney. Um, what else can I say about the Republican convention? More often than not, when I think Republican, I just don't think black person. I'm sorry. When I think Republican, I think of a rich, white, Christian male, or just that white Christian, all American, don't like blacks, don't like integration. And I understand that even though I know the history of the Republican Party, I know that Frederick Douglass was a Republican. I know that Abraham Lincoln, the Republican Party, set themselves up on an anti slavery platform and was very instrumental in the freeing of slaves. I just know that the Republican Party switched over the years. The Republican Party since Barry Goldwater has been the we don't care about you. So even though I know the history of the Republican Party, I still think the Republican Party is the party of the country club, the party of the guy in the pickup truck drinking the beer. So when I see a black man or a black woman doing it, I'm like, what's up with you? What's wrong with you? And that may be my own personal prejudices, and I'm quick to admit that. But one thing people need to remember, I've said this in a lot of my vids, it's just no politician is a panacea. Politics of its nature is a dirty game. It's not a clean, gentlemanly game. It's a dirty, low down, underhanded, backstabbing game, whether you're Republican or Democrat. In fact, our discourse in this country is not even civil anymore regarding politics. Our country is very divided on the issue, like abortion, same-sex marriage, the economy. all of this, and we're fighting and we're fighting. But meanwhile, the everyday person still has to go somewhere and find out there's no job, or the person realizes, hey, I'm broke, I ain't got nothing, or the everyday person has to go home if there is a home. So I find it very funny. Um, but yeah, everyone's building this Paul Ryan up like he's the great white hope. He's the super white guy, and it's gonna stop stop America from falling into the chasm caused by the black guy. That's kind of the stuff that he's jumping on him about. And with all due respect to any politician, number one, being a president is a hard job. Whether it's George W. Bush, whether it's President Bill Clinton, whether it's President Barack Obama, whether it's President Ronald Reagan, whether it's President Jimmy Carter, I don't give a dang, whether it's President Abe Lincoln, whether it's President Buchanan, whether it's President William McKinley, whether it was President Alexander Hamilton, it doesn't even matter. It was President Thomas Jefferson. My whole point is that all these leaders had to face being the leader of the country, not the leader of one side of the country versus the other side of the country. They had to face be the leader of their country. And to quote a Shakespeare line, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. So anybody who has the authority, he's got to take he takes the blame, he takes the credit, he gets the stress, he got to do all of that. So these people that are up and coming and trying to run for president doesn't necessarily mean that they know what's going on. Mitt Romney's never been a president, so he doesn't know the stress of being the leader of the entire country and having to deal with other nations. And even the pundits who sit on the sidelines don't know what it is to lead a country. They can wax eloquently, they can opine until they're blue in the face. Laura Ingraham has never been president. Michelle Malkin has never been president. Bill O'Reilly has never been president. Glenn Beck has never been president. Al Sharpton has never been president. Cornel West has never been president. So anyone who has an opinion, you can have your opinion, but realize it is just speculation and conjecture because you've never sat in the office yourself and had to experience what it means to be a president, to experience. Not only do you have to deal with the things of the previous administration, you got to deal with what's going on in your administration. And in addition to that, you have to do what's best for the country. And there's a certain agenda you might have, but you don't know everything. Even the senators don't know everything. So it's easy to sit back in the cut and criticize, but if you've never actually been president, you don't know what the deal is. And that includes me too. If you've never been a world leader, I think you need to sit the mess down and shut the F up personally. Because we don't know. But that's really what this national convention to me is. We are people that are in dire straits, and we have a lot going on in our country. And all of us are scared about the future. We're uncertain. And it's messing with us. And I can understand that. I'm scared about the future. But it doesn't mean we can sit here and name call and sling our feces at each other, because that's what it seems like we're doing. That's all political discourse is this day. Just like we're apes and we're slinging our feces at each other. And between you and me, it stinks. Well, that's my 2 cents. You have a lovely evening and take care.